In the beginning, what I really wanted to do was a podcast. I didn't really think I was going to be able to do a YouTube channel. I always feel like I'm just too conscious in front of the camera, and I still might be. Alright, so hi, my name is Justin and welcome to Justin Out Loud, which is the title that I would most likely call this video podcast if I did have a podcast on my channel. Now, if you're new here, welcome. I make videos that revolve mainly around photography, filmmaking, travel, and gear. But if you've been a subscriber of the channel, then you already know that. Also, you might have already seen the video that I posted just last week, which I leave here so you can watch that. It's called One Way Ticket to Vienna, which is a short cinematic vlog that I did mainly just about our move here to a different country, to Vienna, right? From the time that we got the news to actually arriving here. So if you have time, please do check that out. We've been getting lots of really good and positive comments on that video, which I honestly didn't expect. Yeah, I'm really happy about it. It's something that I kind of put my heart and soul into. So go check it out if you have the time. Lots of things have changed. Lots of things are new right now. If you haven't noticed already, we are shooting in a different location. This is a flat that we've been living in for the past month, I think, since we got here to Vienna. But we are supposed to be looking for a more permanent flat where we will be staying in for the duration of forever. For the duration of the time that we're going to be here. So which brings me to my story, which will also explain this setup right now. So last week we were looking for flats to move into. We narrowed the search down to around 3 or 4, and we decided to set a meeting on this one that we picked mainly because it checked out a lot of boxes for us. One, it was going to be a lot easier to commute from there to our daughter Kara's kindergarten, which she actually started this week, which is awesome. And two, not only did it have a balcony, which we thought was a necessity, especially in the time of pandemic, but it had a really large balcony, and we're super excited to move into that. And 3, it was really spacious, a lot more spacious than this one, and you know, the layout just made sense. It was in a new building, so we really thought it was gonna be a perfect and good location. So we went out there. We met with the current tenant who were about to leave too. I think by the end of September they'll be going back to their country. And so we met with them. They gave us a quick tour of the apartment, showed us the features. In the middle of the tour, I noticed that when we entered their office space, right, their home office space, that they had this motorized standing desk, a couple of monitors set up, and on the table was this Focusrite Scarlett audio interface just lying there. So it was super noticeable to my eye because, one, I've been researching on setting up my own video podcast thing. And I've been wanting to do that ever since we got here. And I actually told some of my friends that's something I would want to maybe play around with, toy around with. The idea is to have a formal podcast setup for me, for my channel. And so I brought it up. I asked him about it, and he actually laughed. I think he was quite surprised that among the things that he showed me, that was the thing I noticed the most. Suddenly, he just suggested that since he wasn't using the microphone and the audio interface anyway, that I could borrow it, which I got really surprised because we literally just met, right? So I politely declined. I told him he was too kind, but I was okay. I could do more research on my own anyway, but I was just really interested to know how it was working, how he found it. But he told me he wasn't really actually able to use it. He was supposed to be starting a podcast with his wife too, but they got pretty busy. So yeah. Anyway, we went home that day, and because we were super sold on the flat and everything it had to offer, I told my wife that we would be crazy to let it go. We obviously all of the other choices on our list didn't check as many boxes as that one. So we immediately decided that we were going to be taking that space. We told the couple that we were going to move in there, that we wanted to move in there, and we were so happy we found them. They told us to meet with them again to discuss the furniture so that they know which ones they would be leaving behind, which ones they would be needing to get rid of. So a couple of days passed, we went back, And as we ended looking around again, the husband basically comes out of the room with the Focusrite Scarlett and the microphone all boxed up and ready for me to take. And he told me, you know what, I'm really not using it. Just return it to me next week. And not many people know this. Like in the beginning, what I really wanted to do was a podcast. I didn't really think I was going to be able to do a YouTube channel. One, I always feel like I'm just too conscious in front of the camera, and I still might be. But I never thought I'd be able to sit down in front of the camera, talk to it like this one. And I never really knew how to make videos. I never really knew how to set up my camera to shoot videos in the past. And I think it was 2018 when I first discovered Pat Flynn, who is a Filipino based in the US, who is also an architect who unfortunately or fortunately got laid off from his job and found his way into the world of podcasting, who is now one of the most influential voices in that platform. And he is the owner of Smart Passive Income, for those of you who don't know. Maybe I'll leave a link down in the description box so you can check out Pat Flynn. He's such an influential figure in my life. I think he is one of the biggest catalysts for me wanting to create content for myself. And so 2018, I really wanted to start podcasting. Bought super cheap microphones back then. Tried playing around, and I didn't really push through with it. Ended up starting a YouTube channel just last year at the start of pandemic. I mean, finally taking it seriously. And so long story short, I was super happy about it, and I ended up taking the microphone. So that's why we have this kind of setup right now. This is the Audio Technica AT 2020, and the sound that you're hearing right now is coming straight from the microphone. I'm not going to edit it because not only do I want you to hear the audio quality of this microphone, but personally for me also, it's an XLR microphone, meaning you can't really connect it to your computer directly, right? So it's an XLR microphone. It uses XLR cables, and to be able to use the microphone with your computer, you'll need a audio interface. So right now, this is the Focusrite Scarlett 18i8. I know it's overkill because there are 4 ports for microphones right now, I understand, which is perfect if you're planning to do a podcast where you're planning to have guests over, right? So you can plug up to 4 microphones in this one, and you don't need to keep buying the solo versions, because there are different versions of this. It's perfect for one content creator. There are versions that have 2 plugs in it, which is perfect for a 2-man thing. So yeah, so this is the Focusrite Scarlett 18i8, and it is connected via USB-C cable onto my MacBook Pro here, and it also has its own power supply. That's essentially the setup that we're going with right now. I won't really go into the technicalities of both the microphone and the audio interface here, but that is basically what you need to know. An XLR microphone will need some sort of audio interface. There are different brands, different models in the market, and the audio interface's job is essentially to connect you to the microphone, to your computer. There are other types of microphones. There are USB microphones, which have been very popular for some time now, mainly because of the ease of use, right? So it's a microphone that you can connect directly onto a computer, so you skip all of the middleman, so to speak. But I'm no audio expert, right? So I can't really tell you if an XLR microphone is better than a USB mic, because every time I try to listen, they sound pretty close, maybe. But I do know that from research, that most of the more professional podcasters, I would say, prefer using an XLR microphone and a setup similar to this versus a USB microphone. Not to say that USB mics are bad, right? It's something I notice. Also, USB microphones will be easier to use. Like I said, they are plug and play directly onto the laptop. This one, you have lots of wires and other additional equipment that you'll need, which honestly I do find to be sexy, being a gearhead. I'm very intrigued, and so that's one of the reasons why I agreed to, take this microphone home. This also means that this is obviously going to be more expensive to set up, right? So some XLR microphones don't even come with a cable, so you have to purchase them separately. Obviously, the audio interface is is an additional expense too, and sometimes you need cloud lifters or FET heads, which basically cleans the signal of the microphone. And XLR microphones can be very expensive. Like there's this one microphone that I really want to have, and I'm dreaming of having, which is the Shure SM7B, which we actually talked about on a video podcast that I did start with a couple of buddies of mine, Nico and Dan. It's called the Gearbuds, and we just came out with episode 4, which I'll also link up here, so you can also check that channel out. And in episode 4, we did talk about the Shure SM7B, because it's one of the most popular microphones. It's a legendary microphone for podcasting, but it's hella expensive. And since I've been wanting to try out podcasting for the longest time now, I just wanted to, this was free. I just wanted to do this. I wanted to try it out. Anyway, let me know if this is something that works out. Like, you find this setup okay, if this is something that you think fits the channel, right? So it's basically you and me sitting down, just talking, just chilling generally. So if you like this video, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And if any of you are audio experts or have been into podcasting already, or are doing podcasts right now, I would love to hear your inputs. XLR microphones versus USB microphones, and what do you think about the AD2020? How does it sound? Right? And do you have other audio interface suggestions? Write them down in the comment section below. Tell us your thoughts, because I heard that the YouTube algorithm loves it when we interact. So that's going to be a big help to this channel. So I really appreciate if you do that. What else? So I want to say thank you for sitting down, just hanging out with me like this, taking your time to watch this video. Watch the cinematic vlog that I did, one-way ticket to Vienna, and also check out Gearbuds if you have the time. So I'll link everything down in the description box below, so you guys can check that out. My name is Justin, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.